Hey guys, it's you with Use Training Log. In today's episode, I'm going to be doing the Q&A based on the questions that y'all left me on the last episode. And I'm also going to be doing some posing practice using some of Terrence Bruffin's most recently posted posing training videos. I'm gonna have that side by side with me going through it as y'all watch me learn. So let's jump right into the Q&A. You guys asked a lot of pretty good questions actually. I'm pretty shit about talking about myself. I don't find myself particularly interesting, so your questions help me put myself out there for you guys. So I do appreciate them. So let's get started. I've got my little notepad here. Devo Dynasty asks, where are you from? Pretty simple question. I was actually born in Nuremberg, Germany. Both my parents were in the military and they traveled around a lot. My brother was born in Kansas and my sister was born in Oklahoma, and yeah, so I was born abroad. My birth certificate is even kind of different. Yeah, I was born in Nuremberg, Germany, but I was raised in Savannah, Georgia. I've only lived in Germany for about 3 months, I think. I have no memories of it. But yeah, I was raised in Savannah, Georgia for my entire life. I enjoyed it there. I love where I grew up. Then after that, I went to school the first time in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I went to South Carolina State, yeah. And but now I live right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So Iconic Ja, I think that's how you say it. Iconic Ja asks, you got Snapchat? And no, well, that's not necessarily true. I do. I have Snapchat. I've got all the shit, but I don't tweet. I don't really post. Part of that is why I'm even making this channel. I'm working on putting myself out there just kind of as a person, and it's not that I didn't like social media, it's that when I would post on social media, I would start to care, and it's like, oh, I posted this thing, I hope I get a bunch of likes. Oh, I'm getting likes, that means people are looking at me, and then I get awkward and cringe back into my safe space. So I'm working on putting myself out there gradually, so maybe if this channel gets better, I'll start expanding to social media, but right now, no, I don't really have any way, I don't really have social media. Edgar Leonel asks, favorite movie? And I'm 28, but I've always been drawn to animation, and so even now my favorite movie is a kid's movie. I say The Incredibles. That was Disney's, well, Pixar. It came out in 2004 when I was 12. That's the 4 superhero family. Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, Violet and Dash, and Jack. I loved that. When I saw it as a kid, I loved it because of the story and the animation. You know, everybody using their powers, even though they're kind of basic level powers, but it's shown so well, and everyone uses them so creatively that it's just like, this shit is cool. But now I appreciate, I don't know, I like any story with tight writing. I feel like in movies and shows, the point is to have things set up and pay off, and it's frustrating when there's something that you might notice or something that's brought up by the story and it's left hanging. So I like The Incredibles because it's just a tightly written story. I can talk about this movie all day. I'm sorry, this is not a summary, but well written, and the animation is top notch even looking back now. I always sing the praises of this scene in particular. It's the scene where Elastigirl is breaking into Syndrome's facility the first time we kind of see it, and as a kid I never realized it, but like, there's no dialogue in that scene. I think the entire time, I think like the guards might be saying some shit, but there's no dialogue, and yet it's engaging, and she's just flipping and whipping and whipping through the thing, and there's so much, it's just expressions, it's slick movement, it's sound design. Like there's just so much going on that you don't even realize that no one's saying anything the entire time. So yeah, I could talk about this movie all day. I still say The Incredibles is my favorite movie. So Pedro asked me a few questions. So I'm gonna just go one by one, but thanks Pedro for asking so many questions. How have you decided to start working out, and what are your goals with it? So when I was a kid, I was a scrawny kid, like tall, lanky, awkward. Even now I feel tall, lanky, and awkward, but I was super skinny when I was a kid. I don't say vivid, because again, my memory is shit, but I still have the emotional memory of getting in an argument with my friends and moving to push him. Like I actually pushed him and I moved and he didn't. And I was like, oh, I'm scrawny. Like that. I don't know, I just remember that feeling of, oh shit, I am scrawny. So I don't say that moment, and then after that day I decided to work out. I don't remember that, but I don't say that, but I do remember that moment specifically. So when I was around 15, I just started doing research. I think I discovered bodybuilding.com forums just offhand, and ended up just falling down the internet rabbit hole of just learning about as much as I could at the time about eating right, training, all of that stuff. But it was also the dark ages where everyone was just saying whatever. So there was a lot of filtration and it was hard to find the good information. But I can say, even back then, I eventually learned if you want to get bigger, you need to eat food and progressively eat more as you are gaining weight, and you need to lift weight and progressively lift more weight as you are eating more food and gaining more weight. It's basically that simple. But it took me forever to learn that as a kid, and I would go to the gym on the military base near me, and I would go and I'd do my workouts. I'd do whatever thing I could find on the internet, but the biggest thing was I wasn't eating enough. And I promise if anyone out there is trying to bulk up, you can almost get away with eating anything. There's health, but you're probably not eating enough if you're trying to gain weight and it's not working. That's the easiest thing that I can point out from my childhood. So it wasn't until I was in college, I'd say around 2021, where I had a job and had the time. Every morning I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym this time, and it was when everything clicked, where I could work out regularly, work out at a time where the gym was empty and I didn't feel uncomfortable learning publicly. And I had the money to afford enough food to eat as much as I needed to. So when I was in college the first time, I did blow up, essentially. I'd say I went from about 170, damn, I can't remember, but I'd say maybe about 170 to 190, and people actively noticed, like, oh shit, Yusuf, you're actually getting pretty swole, and it made me uncomfortable. But that's not important. Yeah, so my goals with it, at this point, I'm kind of torn. I like bodybuilding as a sport, and that's something that I want to focus on now. But I also kind of am interested in modeling, but I don't know. I want to be able to take pictures and show them off. I don't know. But I know that the bodybuilding physique and the modeling physique are two different things. So but right now my goals are focused on bodybuilding. The next question, what are your hobbies outside of fitness? There's not a lot. I don't know. Honestly, like I said, I like cooking and baking, primarily baking, but I do like just making hot food too. I like music. That's actually what I went to school for the first time, and that was a whole adventure, but I do still love music. And so right now I'm learning bass guitar. That's what's there in the back. So that's one of my hobbies, is practicing that. And fitness, baking, music. And is anime a hobby? That seems weird. That's like saying I like watching TV, but I don't know. I genuinely enjoy watching anime, and that's so vague because that's not a genre. That's a medium. But I don't know. That's what I do, which leads kind of into the next question he asked. How would you describe your perfect day? Right now, living within my means, it would be easy to say I don't know, go on a really good trip and enjoy a day there, but within my means currently, a perfect day is pretty simple. I would wake up with no alarm, so like I can sleep in if I need to. I just kind of wake up when I feel rested. That's always a plus. Then I would do a bit of meditation. I try to do that every morning. I would practice bass. I'm trying to learn. That's a long story. Currently I'm trying to learn the song "The Whims of Fate" from the game Persona 5. That's actually the song that made me want to pick up bass. But it was way out of my league for a while, so I'm trying to get that at tempo. After that, this isn't necessarily in order. It's like as long as I do all of these things within the day, I'm happy. I'd get a workout in, make sure I knock that out, get a new PR or something. Then I'd smoke a bowl with my roommate / best friend Richard. Cook a meal, which would be something with pasta or something with seafood. I like all seafood. I like all pasta. So then after that, I'd probably watch some TV, chill, and then be able to go to sleep whenever. Don't have to worry about waking up early the next morning. So that'd be a perfect day. Wake up with no alarm, meditate, practice bass, exercise, smoke with my best friend, cook a decent meal, and go to sleep whenever I want. The next question he asks is, what's your favorite childhood memory? I honestly sat here and tried to remember a funny childhood memory, but like I said, my memory, I honestly can't remember. I don't even want to come up and like make up a kind of story. I can't remember funny things that happened in my childhood. So the next question he asks is, what are your words to live by? And those, it's actually, I believe it's a quote or part of a quote from Martin Luther. Not Martin Luther King, but Martin Luther. When going through hell, keep going. And it's pretty simple. I feel like it doesn't even really need to be explained, but it kind of clicked with me because it's so simple. It's like, you feel like shit, keep going. Things are going bad, keep going. Like, stopping will just have you sitting in that shitty moment forever. You just kind of have to push through it and keep going. As long as you keep going, eventually things will get better, and that's always proven true. Like, even when things have been awful, it has eventually gotten better. So that's one, when going through hell, keep going. And one that I more recently have kind of mentally adopted is nothing is easy. And again, very simple, but it's more so both doing nothing is easy. That's the easiest thing you can do, is doing nothing, and I'm trying not to do easy things. And there's nothing in this world that is easy other than nothing. And that's kind of, for me, when I'm struggling in class, essentially. When I'm struggling with music, when it's that even if you're learning something, even if you master it, it's not like hitting a button, you know, like, oh, I need to bake a cake, I need to do whatever, hit a button and it's done now. It's, you still have to do it, and it's, how do I explain it? I'm going to use baking as an example because that's what kind of made me realize this. When let's say I need to make some cookies. There's such a technique to making cookies that you wouldn't even think about. So even when you're a professional who has done it for 10 years, made 1 million cookies, you still have to make them properly. It's just easier for you to do them. But it never becomes easy, it just gets easier to do. I don't know if that explains it, but nothing is easy. And so those are the two phrases that I live by. When going through hell, keep going, and nothing is easy. The next question Pedro asks is, if you didn't live where you do, where would you live? Japan. I'm I'm sure you, based on everything I've said so far, you knew that was coming, but it's Japan. I feel kind of cringy I feel kind of awkward because I have no experience there. Everything that I know about it is just from anime and other medium, but isn't that how most people feel? They see pictures of beaches and they're like, I want to go to that beach. So I stand by that, Japan. And finally, what are your plans for the future? So for this channel, I want it to be bodybuilding focused, but that's not it. I'm more so trying to put more of my personality out there and make stuff that I like to watch, because I kind of get a lot of, not joy. No, I don't know. I get a lot out of some of the stuff that I watch, and so I want to make some stuff that I would watch, and hopefully that can mean something to other people. So within the month, I'm going to start adding video games, because that's a whole other thing that I love, and I'm gonna start with streaming Dragon Age Origins. That's a pretty old game. It's an RPG, but RPGs are kind of the only game that I play passionately. So I'm gonna start with that because I really haven't played it since I was a kid, and I want to go through all of the Dragon Age Origins, then 2, and then Inquisition. I want to go through all of those because I haven't played them since I was younger, and I want to see if they're as good as I remember them, because I remember them being like some of my favorite games growing up, and I want to just revisit that and maybe go through with anyone else who's interested. So I'll have more information about that, but it should be within the month. Then I have within the season, so winter, so at least until, I want to have this out by April, is a video essay on Persona 5. That's the game that this music's from, that's playing now. It's the reason that I picked up bass guitar as an instrument. It's a game that drastically affected my life and came out at a hard time for me, so I want to share my experiences with it. So I'm gonna try and make a video based on talking about the story, talking about all the things that I like about it. Kind of a review, but a very long form, going through all of the game again and sharing my experiences with you guys. So that's something that I'm trying to do, a video essay on Persona 5. I want to have that out by April, but that's a long game and I kind of want to replay it, so it might be much more of a long-term goal. As far as fitness, I've said I've been bulking this entire time, and I have, but I kind of want to try slimming down a bit. I want to see if I can, like how I said, the modeling, that I don't want to. I don't know. Modeling is the wrong word for it. I just kind of want to see how aesthetic I can make my body for a bit. So I'm gonna try cutting down, slimming down a bit. Basically getting beach ready. I want to try getting beach ready with enough time where I can still prepare for the December contest properly. So I'm gonna think about it and focus, figure out exactly what I want to do. But I want to cut down and probably take some photos just to see how those turn out. So that's one goal. There's still my December show that I'm hoping I'll be able to do. And I'm going to be graduating from pastry school after this semester. I'm on my last semester, and that's done in May. So that's one of my main goals, is to get through that successfully. But yeah, other than that, those are my main goals for this year. Yeah, so that's all the questions actually, and thank you everybody for asking these questions. I appreciate being able to share myself, to be able to share myself with you guys, because it's something that I I struggle with. So next up, I'm going to be posing practice. I've been doing it on my own every day, but I saw that Terrence Ruffin, who's my favorite bodybuilder, he has been updating posing practice videos, and I actually haven't gotten a chance to watch them. So I want to kind of do a blind posing practice video, watching whatever. So I'm gonna have some of the clips of the video off to the side while I'm watching it, so that you guys can learn with me and see me trying to learn. It'll make sense. Go.
Press. Hey, what's up guys, your boy Rough Diesel here with Posing with Rough. Today we got Ted as my model. Very, very good looking. I hand selected him for this role here. And we're gonna start before the turns. Without further ado, anytime we're thinking about posing, we're going to think about posing from the ground up. So what does that mean? Basically what that means is placing your feet in a proper stance. Now, usually that's shoulder width apart, but if you have a little bit smaller of adductors or thighs, I like for the thighs to be touching. Then you want to think about flexing your quads. Now, for most people, a slight bend in the knee is what I like to do. And then you kind of think of having screws in your heels is what I like to say, and you're kind of twisting out, contracting everything that way. So once the legs are done, then you just kind of bring your upper body into it. You want to kind of raise up, flare the lats out. If you want to hit a vacuum, hit a vacuum. This is pretty good. One mistake I commonly see is people really having their arms super high. They call it riding the motorcycle. You don't want to do that. You kind of want to have it like you had it, time bent down. That makes your biceps and your triceps a little bit bigger. Makes everything flow a little bit better as well. You're also kind of following the contour. Next, we're going to quarter turn here. Boom. So with this pose here, you want your feet together, your feet touching. Some people like to offset the feet, so having one in front of the other. Either way is fine. From there, what you're going to do is just rotate up here, keeping your hips facing forward. Perfect. And from there, you want to really contract this pec here, almost like you see those guys where they're doing like those side bench press things or the side machine presses. You kind of want to think of that to flex that chest. Another thing is his arms in a good spot. Another issue I see people doing is they're covering their abs. He's not doing that, so perfect. On this side here, you really want to do the opposite. You want to stretch that chest out, and then kind of on the back end, you're going to be feeling your scapula retract, or those shoulder blades retract on this side of your body. You want to be conscious of your obliques. Now, some people have a hard time flexing it, or showing striations in their obliques. That just comes with practice. Even myself, I have to practice a lot to get mine to pop. Just practice rotating and turning. I'm not enough for that. You almost want to think about your glutes as well. Now, he has the old trunks on. Most trunks these days will be showing your glutes here. So I know for a lot of people that's something kind of, especially for guys, they're not used to thinking about the glutes. They're not bikini competitors, so something to think about. Yeah, definitely. So an easy way to kind of flex your glutes is to think about abduction. So turning your hips outward, your knees outwards. I'm sorry. So just like that right there. Perfect, perfect, perfect. As for the upper body, same thing. Kind of open up right there. Good. And a lot of people have a hard time flaring their lats. Now, what I'm going to show you guys isn't a fix like a perfect fix. You're going to have to practice and get a good mind muscle connection there. But just to see how your lats should look flared, so relax for a second. Just roll that really far forward. And then what you want to do is bring those elbows out. And that's kind of how, and then lean back. So now you can see how his lats are flared there. So that's kind of a good tip to kind of see what it should look like. And from there you can kind of figure out what internally you need to do to kind of get those things to pop a lot more. Another thing is too with hamstrings, a lot of people have a hard time flexing their hamstrings. A quick tip too, just to see how they should look, is what you're gonna do is just do a single leg hamstring curl. Now when you're super lean, you should see, you can relax. When you're super lean, you should see all the details start to pop, and then you say, okay, this is how it should look. Because a lot of times, people can't tell, and then it's just so smooth, the hamstrings are just smooth, and they don't know what it should look like contracted. So when you do that, you just get a good quick glimpse on how much detail you actually have and how much potential you have to show in that pose. Quarter turn to the right. Awesome, guys. So that has been Posing with Ruff, quarter turns edition. We will be back soon to show you the mandatories. Check that out on my next video. And until next time, peace.
Okay, so that was me going through Terrence Ruffin's first posing practice video. I'm definitely going to be going through the other ones, probably in the next episode, because I actually really enjoyed that. A lot of my posing knowledge comes from the first time I was training for a bodybuilding show with Goob, and he talked me through a lot of this. Like this isn't my first time hearing it. However, just hearing his explanations, just hearing Terrence's explanations, and kind of confirmed a lot of things for me. I liked it, so this isn't gonna be the last time you see me in these trunks, and I'm gonna be practicing just to get this shit perfect. See you guys.